What's happening, gang? It's your boy Retro back again with another reaction video. Yeah. Today we got another huge update. I know you guys could probably already tell it is going down just by that title alone. We've got Trump's VP running mate choice, JD Vance, absolutely destroying all these lunatic lefties that keep losing it. This newest update where he's going straight head on at the left-wing media, guys, CNBC, and I'm going to say, guys, it was not good on their part, guys. I'm excited to get in this one, so we're not straight into it. So make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Before we even get into it, you guys hit that like button. Also hit that subscribe button for your boy. Without further ado, let's jump straight into it, guys.
Is Kamala Harris so afraid of actually going before the American media and answering questions? And can we trust a person who's terrified of friendly American media to sit in a private room with Vladimir Putin or Xi Jinping and actually advocate for the American people's best interest? I don't. I think she's incompetent, and that's why she won't go through the American media process. Why is Kamala...
That's a very good point. JD Vance laying it all out there immediately, guys. Kamala Harris isn't willing or able to do it with friendly media. How is she going to react or handle herself when it comes to sitting in meetings with world leaders, the thugs of the world, and trying to negotiate and make deals? Guys, I don't think that's possible with Kamala Harris. JD Vance, man, laying out why Donald Trump picked him as his VP choice right here. Listen to this, guys.
But let me ask you about this for just very quickly. I heard Donald Trump before this debate describe Kamala Harris as, I'll just read a few of them, a low IQ individual, somebody who doesn't have the mental capacity to be president, really dumb, unable to put two sentences together. Is that what you saw on the stage tonight?
John, what I saw was a lot of slogans. I think the American people are smart, and Kamala Harris talks to them like they're children. She repeats these ridiculous platitudes where if you actually think about what she said, you realize that it doesn't make any sense. She talks a lot about her plans, but then her plans, when you analyze the substance, don't make any sense. And more importantly, John, the American people don't get fed on plans. She has been the vice president for 3.5 years. What she can't do, refuses to do, and has no ability to do is to say, okay, I accomplished lower prices because she didn't, or I accomplished lower housing prices because she didn't, or I secured the southern border because she didn't do that. She has failed as vice president, and the fundamental...
You hear them? He's trying to cut him off, guys, because he is absolutely going on a heater, laying out all of these truths. I don't know if you guys can hear him in the background. He said okay once. He said all right. He is trying his best, his darndest, to cut JD Vance off. This is why Donald Trump picked JD Vance to be his running mate right here. He's able to defend Donald Trump and defend his positions no matter what, guys. Even on ABC with the left-wing lunatics. Look at this, guys.
Lower prices because she didn't, or I accomplished lower housing prices because she didn't, or I secured the southern border because she didn't do that. She has failed as vice president, and the fundamental question is, do we want to give her a promotion? I think the answer has to be no, John.
He brought up this misleading false claim that you yourself have talked about in recent days about Haitian immigrants in Springfield, Ohio, abducting people's pets and eating them, which officials there have said is not true. You yourself acknowledged it may be false on.
Now, for all of you who seen my video yesterday, guys, we know they're trying to play in the people's faces, guys, trying to gaslight us to believe that there is nothing going on. If you didn't check out my last video, guys, definitely go give it a look. I'll tell you right now, Caitlin Collins is trying to gaslight JD Vance for her. I'm really interested to see how he answers this one.
Which officials there have said is not true. You yourself acknowledged it may be false on Twitter. You still told people to keep spreading it. But Trump just amplified it to tens of millions of people who were watching. Why push something that's not true?
Well, first of all, city officials have not said it's not true. They've said they don't have all the evidence.
They said they have no evidence.
We've heard from a number of constituents on the ground, Caitlin, who both firsthand and secondhand reports saying this stuff is happening. So they very clearly, meaning the people on the ground dealing with this, think that it is happening. And I think that it's important for journalists to actually get on the ground and uncover this stuff for themselves.
Thank you. Right there. Journalists aren't doing their job anymore, guys. People like Caitlin Collins from CNN, she should be firsthand on the scene, getting an eyewitness account, what the residents are saying. The folks who have actually went there and seen what's going on, they know there is a serious problem. Even folks who have migrated, second and third generation Haitians are saying that this is not new. This is nothing, outside of the norm. In Haiti, this is one of the poorest countries. They do this, easy food supply, and then on top of that, they do these rituals, guys, and this is a part of the rituals. Like, Don't sit here and try to tell that like. I'm so glad JD Vance stood strong on his stance, because this is happening, guys. They're trying to gaslight us.
So they very clearly, meaning the people on the ground dealing with this, think that it is happening. And I think that it's important for journalists to actually get on the ground and uncover this stuff for themselves when you have a lot of people saying, my pets are being abducted, or geese at the city pond are being abducted and slaughtered right in front of us. This is crazy stuff. And again, whether those exact rumors turn out to be mostly true, somewhat true, whatever the case may be. Caitlin, this town has been ravaged by 20,000 migrants coming in. Healthcare costs are up. Housing costs are up. Communicable diseases like HIV and
Thank you. Let's get on the points that matter. Even if they aren't doing what we know they're doing, abducting these animals, guys, still there is a problem. There's a crisis with our borders and the amount of illegal migrants that are flooding into our cities. Come on now, guys.
TB have skyrocketed in this small Ohio town. This is what Kamala Harris's border policies have done. And I think it's interesting, Caitlin, that the media didn't care about the carnage wrought by these policies until we turned it into a meme about cats. And that speaks to the media's failure to care about what's going on in these communities. If we have to meme about it to get the media to care, we're going to keep on doing it, because the media should care about what's going on.
I saw you say
Wants access to American markets. If you want access to American markets, you can't use Chinese slave labor to produce your products. You've got to be able to use American workers, and that's the whole thrust of Donald Trump's economic
Apple's
policies.
an evil company?
Yeah, can we talk about big tech? Yeah,
Let's talk about
because
big
you
tech.
seem to have kind of
do I think it's to answer Becky's question, do I think Apple's an evil company? No. Do I think that sometimes they benefit from Chinese slave labor? Yeah, and that's pretty sick. And I think that a company that wants to benefit from American markets should also have to pay American workers a fair wage.
So
Come on now. Come on. That's JD Vance coming out proving why Donald Trump picked. That's why I can enjoy, just hearing JD Vance speak. He's always going to call it how he sees it. He calls the balls and the strikes fairly well. From what I've seen, no matter what side you're on, JD Vance is going to simply put it exactly how he's seeing it, guys. And right now, there is a problem. JD Vance is doing more media presence, more media interviews than Kamala Harris. Come on, listen. And he's tearing them apart. Listen to him here.
They're telling about you that you don't agree with.
Well, I think one of the things that says, for example, about Donald Trump's economic policies is that somehow they're going to jack up inflation, which is rich coming from Kamala Harris, whose economic policies have directly led to
Tariffs are
inflation.
inflationary.
Well, not always, right? Let's just take.
They're either inflationary or people aren't buying the products anymore.
Well, let's just take one example. So one of the classic examples that economists use to attack, or some economists, I should say, use to attack Donald Trump's economic policies is the tariffs that he imposed on washing machines and other dishwashers. So they show a chart that says, well, look, a few months after this tariff, the price of dishwashers went up a little bit. But if you look over 2 years, actually the price of dishwashers went down. You induced a lot of American factories to invest in American workers and American-made products. And the price of dishwashers has actually lagged behind the price of a lot of other home appliances. So sometimes when you induce investment and capital formation in the United States of America, it does lower prices on American workers. And again, the experience of Donald Trump's presidency, he was president for 4 years. He did impose tariffs sometimes to induce more investment in American workers. And what happened? We had 1.5% inflation, rising take-home pay, and the best economy for workers in 40 years.
That's different than across the board tariffs, though.
But when people say that Donald Trump is going to destroy the economy, he was already the leader of the American economy for.
Come on now, y'all. JD Vance on a heater, guys. Donald Trump he's been in that spot before. 4 years. He did not tear our country apart. Our inflation rate was way lower, miles lower than what we're seeing right now. Kamala Harris cannot say the same, guys. She's been in office for 3.5 years, and prices have skyrocketed. Our economy we're in an economic crisis right now because of Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. Come on, y'all.
Trump is going to destroy the economy. He was already the leader of the American economy for 4 years. We had rising prosperity, broad-based middle-class wage growth. Senator, that is a record I'd like to get back to.
Senator, I think
they always want to cut him off as soon as he starts telling the truth. Whereas Donald Trump's already been in office where we've seen, life was sweet. The American dream was achievable. Now we're seeing that it's not so possible underneath Kamala Harris's administration. They see him, they trying to cut him off. They don't want to hear him get the truth out on CNBC, guys. Listen to him, Senator.
Class wage growth. Senator, that is a record I'd like to get back to.
Senator, I think the question, though, on the tariffs is, and it's where Joe is going, because they're across the board and they're not as targeted, it's unclear. There are certain industries that, unfortunately, we don't have. Now, would it be great if our country were to invest in some of these industries that we're missing on the manufacturing side? But the amount of time it may very well take to, quote unquote, induce every industry to invest here to manufacture. That's the complication with the plan. So when you see, for example, like a Goldman Sachs report come out suggesting that this actually becomes not just a massive tax, but a massive drain on the economy, what do you think? And then just a related question, because a lot of people have said this. Do you believe that the entire across the board tariff would go into effect, or is it should we think of it as some kind of negotiating cudgel, if you will, with China for other things?
Well, first of all, I do think that it's negotiation. Donald Trump is a negotiator. He believes in using tariffs for negotiation, but he also does believe in using tariffs to induce more manufacturing, more capital formation in our country. But Andrew, the problem with the argument here is when people say these tariffs are going to have an effect, Donald Trump already imposed specific tariffs on specific industries. You didn't see the negative consequences come to light. In fact, what you saw was rising wages and rising take-home pay. So when people say you can't do this in a narrow way, you can't do it in a broad-based way, I just think that doesn't actually fit with reality.
JD Vance, guys, he's laying it all out on the line, guys. You know, Kamala Harris, and I would say one thing that I did notice, the trend up through all these JD Vance absolutely going in. And I wonder if you guys noticed this too. JD Vance is able to just go on and on and on, defending Donald Trump, his stances, his agenda, his policies. Whereas I haven't seen Kamala Harris herself be able to do what JD Vance does so effortlessly, guys. I mean, that right there is to show, that goes to show that JD Vance, Donald Trump's ticket, is way stronger than Kamala Harris, Tim Walz. I know right now Tim Walz will be fighting and scrambling and bumbling around trying to, cover up for Kamala Harris. I mean, when someone is so opaque about, what they stand for, it's very tough to, go on and defend them. We've seen Kamala's campaign spokesperson even stumbling and fumbling, trying to, defend Kamala Harris. Pretty tough thing to do, guys. I got one more clip that I would like to show you guys. JD Vance, man, it just feels like he hit every single topic right on the head. Another brilliant point he's bringing up about Kamala Harris and the support that she is not getting from all these celebrity endorsements, guys. We're not straight into it.
How do you speak to women voters who obviously they care about what she thinks?
Of course. Well, look, we admire Taylor Swift's music, but I don't think most Americans, whether they like her music or fans of hers or not, are going to be influenced by a billionaire celebrity who I think is fundamentally disconnected from the interests and the problems of most Americans. Look, when
how do you...
Now that right there, I'm gonna end it there, y'all. JD Vance pointing out one of the key things that I've been thinking about, with all these folks who are saying that Kamala Harris keeps buying all this support, with all these celebrity endorsements. She had Quavo, the rapper, Megan Thee Stallion. She was supposed to have Beyonce. Now she's getting a Taylor Swift endorsement. I mean, I'm gonna say one thing, guys. People love, and I've even heard this from family members. They're like, hey, I love Beyonce. I love Taylor Swift. I love these artists, but I don't need Kamala Harris in order to listen to these artists. I can listen to them for free, or I can go to a concert myself. I just don't think Kamala Harris is going to get the support she thinks with these celebrity endorsements, whether they're bought and paid for or not. I just don't feel like it helps her campaign. These are celebrities, and I try to, folks who do vote based off these celebrities, I try to remind them that these celebrities aren't really affected by Kamala Harris, the policies that they stand for, the lack of policy that she has, or the harm that she's going to try to cause to our American society. They kind of put away in a different class. So these, grievances, these frustrations that we're affected by aren't the same things that they're going through. So their endorsement for either candidate doesn't really make a difference. You need to listen to the folks who are actually, working class, people middle class that are saying, hey, this sounds like the right guy to go. It sounds like he's going to, work towards making a better America for our families, those who work day in and day out trying to provide a living for their families, guys. And I'm gonna leave it there. Hop in the comment section. You guys let me know, how do you feel about Taylor Swift finally coming out endorsing Kamala Harris, Tim Walz's campaign? Also, make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you did enjoy more content like this, I'll catch you guys on the next week.